Good morning, lovely people. How are you all today? I hope you're well. I hope your weather is being kind to you. We have yet another sweltering, muggy day here in London. It's not hot. It's about 21 degrees, which is not hot. But my goodness, it's close and muggy. And we keep being promised these thunderstorms and hoping they're going to break it, and they don't. Well, you would have seen from the last video how wet I got. Well, you didn't see how wet I got on my way home, but never mind. Just for a crack into anything today, I wanted to say thank you so much to you all for your incredibly positive, encouraging comments at the end of last month when I did my thoughts on video. And I just want to reassure everyone, hopefully by now I've responded to everyone. It did take me a while because stupidly I hurt my back. And actually just sitting at the computer typing hurt. So by the time you see this I will have caught up. But I just wanted to say a massive thank you for everyone's encouragement and support. And of course, you know, I'm not going to give this garden up. Of course I won't. You know, I was just feeling so about it all. But still with my back, but still feeling, you know, still in love with it. Nothing will ever change that. So it's carry on regardless. That's my attitude at the moment. I've lost a whole load more plants last night, but you know, what will be, won't it? So today's jobs, and it depends a little bit on my back, so I've been doing all my exercises at home, all my stretches, my relaxation stuff, and it's gradually easing it a little bit, but it's still quite tender and a bit cross. It's just down there in the lumbar where we all get it, really. So today's task, well, it's a working party day, a community work party day, which is our once a month event where we all get together and do work on the sort of the communal parts of the site. Actually, there's so much work to do that we're having 3 work parties this month. There's so much to do. Hopefully loads of people turn up to help because it is quite hard work. But anyway, so that's going to take up a chunk of today. But I also want to, today is to pot up my geraniums, the ones that I overwintered at home, and the cutting I took, and the mother plant, which cutting is just over there. I'll show you that because you can pretty much take cuttings at any time of the year. So if you've got one of your geraniums is going a bit leggy, I'll show you what to do with it. When I say geraniums, I mean pelargoniums, but let's just for the rest of today call them geraniums because we all do. And I'll be getting tongue-tied, but yes, pelargoniums / geraniums. Also, I'm hoping today to maybe plant up some of the beans, my backup beans that I sowed in the cold frame, because the gigantes in the cold frame are, well, they're coming out the top of the cold frame. They need to go in. So little bits and bobs of resowing. And, you know, despite my doom and gloom the other day, and I'm sorry about that, there is time to do some repeat sowings. So if you're in a similar situation to me, there is still time to do some repeat sowings if you've got the seed. There are some things I don't have any seed left for, so I'm going to go and look in our community shed where we keep spare seeds to see if there's something there that I can use. And are you off now, Rusty? You see, now the hissing you can hear, that's because Poppy's just outside the door having a little nibble too. Yeah, so without further ado, because work party will start in about an hour, I want to get these geraniums potted up. Oh, and I've got a few more little bits and bobs of herbs, which is lovely. And I'll just quickly tell you why. My mum came to London to go to the garden party at Buckingham Palace, of all things. She was invited because of services to her county. Anyway, so she came down with a friend and they had a wonderful time, and no, she didn't take any cuttings. I told her Don't take any cuttings from the Queen's garden. Your bag will be searched and you'll be put in the tower. Anyway, so they had a lovely afternoon, and then I met up with them in the evening for some dinner. It was lovely being treated to a meal out. Beautiful, warm London night, sitting in the hubbub of the city. It was wonderful. And bless her, she slipped me a tenner. I'm still her little girl. She said, go on, get yourself something for the garden. So I've bought some thyme and some marjoram and a mint. Just because obviously I've sown seed, but who knows what's going to happen. So I've bought myself a couple of little established plants because I do love my thyme in my cooking, and the mint will be for drinking. I can only get a pineapple mint, which is really weird. I can't find peppermint anywhere. I mean, I know I will if I search hard enough, but that will do for now. So I'm going to plant that with the geraniums too, and then just have a few leaves off every now and again for a brew up in the shed. Yay! Come on, let's get planting. So before I actually start potting these up, let me show you the difference. Move that toss out of the way. So, it's rocking about all over the place. It really needs planting up. So this is one of this year's sowings. It's the littlest, teeniest, tiniest one. The others I've put out have got, maybe sort of 5 or 6 leaves. So this really is a little one. But that's the stage that this was at this time last year. So get that one potted up, it'll get growing, and then this winter I'll take it in again to overwinter at home, exactly as I did with these two. Look, aren't they looking splendid and about to flower? Look, can you see lovely little pretty pink flowers? So it's well worth getting them indoors over winter to save them. Now this one, I'm not sure if this is going to pick up. I will try to demonstrate. So this one was also overwintered just like these, but do you see how on this one, for example, are you going to be able to see it's sort of bifurcated there? Well, this one just ended up with a long straggly stem, and there was nothing here at all. Let me show you the cutting with its lovely roots. So if you imagine, this was basically on the top like that with nothing below. So I've taken my cutting, I've put it in water. That was about 6 or 8 weeks ago I did that. Kept the stalk, like I said, there was absolutely nothing on it, and look how it's coming back to life. So that will get potted up today too. So to do your cuttings, it really couldn't be more simple, although it might be quite hard to demonstrate because this has got so bushy now. But you basically find one of the little leaf joints and cut just above it. Set aside your mother plant. It should sprout back like that one. Then when you've got your cutting, where you've cut just on the mother plant, just above the leaf joint, on your cutting, find a leaf joint and cut just below it. So in essence, you lose about 1 centimetre, if that makes sense. You've cut above on the mother plant and below on your little baby plant. Remove any leaf or any foliage that's going to be below the waterline because it will just rot otherwise. Quite simply pop it in some water and it'll root itself and you've got a brand new plant. Well, basically this was a really ugly straggly plant, and now I've got 2 plants out of it. With the other 2 biggies, I'm looking at them, especially that one that's clearly bifurcated. Actually they both are. I let them do their thing over the summer. I'll take them home to overwinter them, and actually probably at the end of the summer I'll look to take a load more cuttings then, so that this time next year, who knows, maybe I'll have 10 or 15 plants instead of 3 or 4. Yay! I'm not forgetting this year's little seedlings, of which I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So who knows, maybe 20 plants next year. That'd be great. So don't be scared of doing some cuttings. Have a go. The worst you can do is kill your plant, isn't it? Excuse me. Right, Should we get potting? I'm always on the lookout for a recycle or a scrounge of any description, and I got a load of these. Well, I got this one from a local charity shop. It was like 20p. So what I've done with them, and a couple of these were on our share table being chucked out. All I've done is drilled holes in the bottom using the metal part of your drill bits, and then I'm just going to put a load of grit in the bottom for drainage. Now these will be too small for most of my geraniums, but what I'm thinking of doing with them is using them to sow a load of salad seeds, not salad seeds, sorry, some of the small herb seeds like basil, that sort of thing, because the problem with sowing straight into the herb bed I'm finding is the cats are digging everything up. So I think that'll be quite cute sitting on the deck. So I've got those ones. I also had, for a couple of Christmases, I've been sent hyacinths that come in the post. So likewise, really nice little pots. Just drilled the bottom. I'll line it with some grit. And I'm thinking for some of the more Mediterranean herbs like the thymes, marjorams, oreganos, that sort of thing, I can then give a really perfect soil mix of the soil and grit for drainage. So simple sticks. Actually, can you see how it's just trying to send out a little shoot there too? So I'm just going to get that on level with the soil, and that should be most happy in there. Of course, the thing about having lots of little pots, you do have to think about watering. What I love when I go to countries like Greece is how they use their old tin cans. I mean, you see all sorts everywhere, but especially the old oil cans, and actually, or the tins, oil tins. I think some of the sort of the designs of the tins are so pretty. Why wouldn't you want to use them as a flower pot? Right, let's get some grit. Scare the living daylights out of the cats while I'm doing it. Yeah, so I think obviously you don't want a pot too small because it's going to just dry out so quickly. But just think about it if you've finished using a tin of something, even an old biscuit tin you could use. Just make sure you drill some holes in the bottom for drainage. Think about having some material in the bottom, even if it's just loads of stones you've cleared out of your beds in the garden. Am I going to get it in? It's not all root. Let's just get rid of a little bit. There we go. That's manageable now. Oops. Sorry, that's your root, isn't it? And the good thing about doing these ones individually is that come the winter, I can just take that whole thing home. So it looks a bit straggling, a bit pathetic at the moment. Also, when you're filling the pot, don't fill it right to the top. Give yourself plenty of room to get some water in there, because like I said, the watering is the main issue when you're using pots. But that one's another happy little contender. Right, let's now do the trough. I've had this terracotta trough for donkey's years. This harks back to, wow, my first flat in London when I was living on the corner of the old Brompton Road and Earls Court Road. Yay! And I had a little roof garden. It has seen better days. It was supposed to have been frost-proof, but it wasn't, so it has lost some of its surfaces, but never mind, it's still going. The thing to bear in mind with terracotta is it can dry out really quickly, but by the same token, they don't tend to get waterlogged because the water can evaporate, and any excess water can sort of seep into the terracotta. So, yay! it's so great. Obviously the vast majority of my garden is about the veg. It's lovely. I'm just going to see which way that looks best. There is going to be a front and back to this trough. So it's really nice to have my little plants that I've brought on to plant up like this, because it's sort of like almost an instant garden whilst I'm patiently waiting for all the vegetables to do what they're supposed to do. And the fact that these two, oh my goodness, that got so dry. Yes, I'll give it a jolly good soaking. The fact that these two are right on the cusp of wanting to flower. Yay! Instant garden, instant gratification. It doesn't, I think I'm going to have to stake that one actually. I don't know why it's rocking around so much. Yeah, it's not often as a vegetable gardener that you get instant gratification. And in with it, I'm going to pop this lovely mint. It's a pineapple mint, like I say, which I'll be honest, I had a couple of leaves off in the shop and tried them. It tasted yummy. And the thing with mint, as we all know, or I think most of us know, is it's pretty rampant and pretty invasive. So with mints, you pretty much always want to be thinking about having them in a container, unless you want your whole garden in a few years to be a mint garden. I will give this a jolly good soak in a minute, because those geraniums were quite dry. Oh, here comes the sunshine. Some sort of little stake for that one. What should we use? There's always a bit of stick hanging around somewhere. That's why I never throw out. This is one of my willow sticks that broke. And I think... Oh! And it broke again. Oh dear. Sorry, little plant, did I hurt you? No, I didn't hurt the plant. Just a little bit of support while it finds where to put its roots to. Lovely. Oh, happy days. It's warm, the sun's out, the birds are singing, and I've got a little instant garden to look at. Yay! So, like I say, have fun experimenting with some geranium cuttings, and have fun building up your troughs and having your instant gratifications. I think it's really important too, actually, whilst we're having such a tricky year with the vegetables. It's really nice to have something to look at straight away. Right, let's go and find somewhere to put it. One of the other things I absolutely love about the garden is how much it gets influenced by friends and how much I'm reminded of friends when I'm in the garden. So this gorgeous little planter, isn't it cute as pie? One of my best, oldest friends in the world, not old in age, but oldest as in time known. My friend Kate gave this to me as a housewarming, gosh, 15 years or so ago. Sorry, I've got a really right tickle at the moment. So today, again, I've just, I don't want to tip it over, I've filled it up now. I've just drilled holes in the bottom, because until now I've used it at home and I put the plant pot in here. But I thought, actually, I really want to have it in the garden. It's so lovely. And a lovely bunch of seeds sent to me. I love this company, MI Gardener. So she sent me all sorts. Oh gosh, was it Renee? God, I'm getting my names in the middle now. I think it was Renee. But I'm going to just start off in here. I'm going to start off some basil. This one's called Holy Basil. I love the idea of that. Some, what you guys over there call cilantro, but we call coriander, and some bergamot. So I'm going to at least get them started here. I know they're far too tiny for them to live in, but yeah, it's a place away from the cats and the foxes scratching and digging to get them at least started. Gosh, how exciting time. So then I'm going to plant these two up with seeds as well, I think. I've got one of these spare that's big. I'm not sure what's going to go in it yet, but let's get these done, pop them on the deck and see how the deck is shaping up. Woohoo! I'm going to have to take my glasses off now because these are teeny tiny seeds. I'm not going to go too mad. Actually, these are going to stick to my sweaty hands, aren't they? I've just realised. Just enough to get a couple of little plants started. Obviously I'm going to get labels. And the lightest touch of compost over the top of them when they are sown. I adore bergamot, absolutely beautiful. I think it's bergamot, isn't it, that flavours Earl Grey tea, of which I'm not a fan. But as a plant, I adore it, and the bees adore it too. These are considerably bigger, so I can give them a little bit of a shove poke in. Right. Just a tiny little covering. Not much, just tiny. Oh, lumping the compost. Compost seems really lumpy this year. Maybe that's part of the issue. Maybe there's too much in the compost that's still decomposing. Look at the size of that. Yuck. Tiniest of firm, just so that they're in contact with the soil. Right, let's go and start putting these on the deck after I've labelled them. So, finally the deck is starting to take the shape that I always wanted it to. So nice to have little pots and bits and pieces around. I think they're all going to be quite happy here. I still have this end to sort out. This pile is all of the stuff that was lost, bashed, mashed, eaten last night. These are my tomatoes that I started, which I just thought bring them down here with the hopes that they might get going, and I might actually put some of them in the soil so that I'll clear this space, and then once this space is cleared of all these little seedlings and pots, then backing up, I can think about sorting out some seating. Yay! And it'd be nice. The idea is that somewhere nice to sit, but with lots of lovely sort of flowers and herbs around that are giving off gorgeous smells and just general prettiness. So glad to be getting on with that today. Wowzers, what a long, hot but happy day that's been. Oh my goodness, I'm crusty with the salt of my own sweat. Loads going on today. It's a big community work party effort today. Not the usual kind of turnout, but a couple of new faces there, which is great to kind of encourage them into the fold. But actually there's a lot of community work needs doing, so that's taken up most of the day. Then I've done a few bits and pieces in the garden which I haven't filmed because I just wanted to get things done. And for the last hour and a half I've been watering because we're getting hot and dry again. But it's been a really beautiful, lovely day. And although I've had a few more losses in the garden, and although I'm still concerned about a few things like the carrots and parsnips, I'm in a much more chipper mood than I was a few days ago. You know, what will be will be. I'll make the most of whatever grows. So, I hope you've got some geraniums, pelargoniums growing of your own, and I hope you feel like now you can maybe, I'm so sweaty, maybe take some cuttings of your own. That seems like such a long time ago this morning when I was doing that. It was about 9 hours ago, in fairness. Anyway, I'm starting to waffle. I need to get home, get some food in my belly, catch up on the tennis, and think about the garden again tomorrow. So for now, I'm going to say cheerio. Stay well, everyone. Stay hydrated if it's hot. Stay under the brolly if it's chucking down. But whatever it's up to out there weather-wise, enjoy your gardens, enjoy your potterings, make the most of every single second. I'll see you all again really soon, I hope. But in the meantime, take care, everyone.